I want to bring in our panel. Presidential historian David Eisenbach. He is in New York. Mary Kate Cary, a senior fellow at University of Virginia's Miller Center and former White House speechwriter for President George H.W. Bush. She's in Washington. And James Robenalt is a presidential historian and lawyer. He is in Cleveland, Ohio. All right, who wants to start? Mary Kay, let's go with you first. I'm curious, because this is something that crossed my mind before we get to his allegations. Who would have helped him construct that speech, and why? Where are the adults in the room? Where are his advisors? Why are they telling him to take this route?
So the speechwriter in me wanted to edit that thing as he was talking. It was driving me crazy. Well, right before he went on, Kellyanne Conway was on the American media, some of the channels, previewing what he was going to say. And her preview was better than what he just did, because he kept going off script, as he likes to do, and ad-libbed. And so the legitimate points that she was making are what appeared at times in his remarks. And I think, you know, starting with questioning how wrong the polls were, talking about the down ballot races and how well he did, expanding the base that he has done so well, you know, things like that, that's legit. To what he should have been saying was that we've got a pandemic that's unprecedented. We've got a huge number of voters setting new records, and we've got new ways of voting. And that's all been the perfect storm, and we all need to be patient and hopeful, and we stand for an honest election. Instead, he started using words like you were just using, you know, corrupt, rigged, stolen, and that added to this sense, when you looked at his voice and his mannerisms, he sounds very tired, kind of sad. He wasn't projecting optimism. It was more of a pessimistic sort of view into his mind, and that did not inspire confidence.
Yeah, it's interesting to note, Mary Kate, and David, I'll go to you next. Is just this the ramblings of a man who knows he's on the way out?
I don't know. It's hard to, you know, see, but it did not come across as tightly written, optimistic, you know, watch this, we're going to pull this off. It did not come across that way.
David, your thoughts?
No, this is the speech of a sore loser who's coming up with all sorts of excuses, including mysterious pipes bursting in Atlanta for why he's going to lose Georgia and lose the presidency. So he was throwing spaghetti against the wall, including accusations of the polling being suppressive polls, and that's the cause of his loss.
James, when we look at the legalities of this, he did talk about, you know, challenges to the polling stations and being able to have observers there. He's not wrong. Republicans are, and Democrats are both entitled to watch as the results come in and as the ballots are counted. But his allegations here, where do you see that ending up in a court of law? Some of those cases were thrown out today. I'm not sure if his advisors told him that, but some of those cases that went to court today were tossed.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I agree with the other people. This is a desperate person right now. He's frightened that he's going to lose, and he is fabricating things. This is really a very dangerous thing for a president of the United States to be doing. And the observers, for example, where they went to court and got an order that they could be a little bit closer than further away, the court said, fine, you can do that, but that's not going to overturn an election. And nor did they go in and ask to stop the voting because they weren't able to observe. I mean, this is just, you know, something that happens. You have observers. It's not going to overturn an election. It's not going to stop the voting. And there's no surprise here about why we are where we are. We're in a pandemic. A lot of people voted in advance. In the states where it's still coming in are states that did not allow the electors to start counting those mail-in votes until Election Day and after.
Right.
So like in Ohio, where I live, they were allowed to start counting when they came in, and we knew the result that night. In some of these other states, they don't do that, and that's their problem, but it is the reason that these votes are going on. There's no mystery here. This isn't just suddenly finding these votes or these ballots. It's very regular, and it's exactly what you should expect.
Well, and Mary Kate, that's exactly what mail-in voting is, plus absentee voting. I mean, often they come in after the election is over at midnight. No one's voting after midnight. The ballots are just coming in.
I think part of the frustration here amongst Republicans is that some of these things could have been prevented by changing, like the fact that the Pennsylvania legislature did not, it could have changed the rules to say everything could start getting counted sooner, because it is unprecedented time. But I do think that some of these questions are legit, of things that are happening that are not, that are either screw ups or cheating. And it's legitimate to say, let's get to the bottom of it. But if you're going to say that, don't be ad-libbing the examples. It should be a tightly edited list from the lawyers of here's exactly what we're going to ask questions about. And it's fine. The problem is, because we've gone through 4 years of the other side saying that they want to do anything possible to get Donald Trump out of office, including impeaching him, that is making people understandably suspicious that maybe there's some sort of malfeasance going on, and it's not just incompetence. So I can see where some of the suspicion is coming from, but they have to be very careful about how they say it. It should not be ad-libbed remarks off the top of his head.
Well, and David, the vice president just tweeted, "I stand with President Donald Trump. We must count every legal vote." And so when we hear the president make these kind of unsubstantiated accusations and use the words that he wants to do, as Mary Kate says, go off script, where's the concern about his supporters reading into those words as a call to action and, God forbid, violence?
Donald Trump doesn't care. He doesn't care that these are the words that would precipitate violence in the streets. He doesn't care that it calls into question the very integrity of the vote and the future of the republic. He doesn't care.
James, where are the strong Republican voices? Again, I noticed his children, his two sons today, were both calling out high-profile members of the GOP for not coming to Trump's defense, as it were, today. What do you think's happened with that?
It's been a mystery since the impeachment about why so many of the Republicans are mute around him and don't talk. The fact of the matter is, these Republicans are scared of the Trump voter. And you just saw it. I mean, Trump got a lot of votes, and he's very powerful. And so these people are scared for their own political lives. And at the end of the day, we watch them let a president get away with trying to force a foreign country to intervene in our elections. So they are not showing profiles in courage. And I think it's because they're so scared of his voters and how strong they feel about Trump and how much they will seek retaliation against officials who don't loyally support him.
Mary Kate, how do you see the next 24 hours unfolding? We may hear the results from Pennsylvania. If not tonight, then likely tomorrow and at the latest on Saturday. Pennsylvania has 20 electoral college votes. That's all Biden needs. How do you see the next 24 hours unfolding?
There was a press conference this afternoon from Nevada. Nevada was also saying it could be tomorrow. It may be a few more days. North Carolina, I think, is very slow. They've only got maybe 50% in. So there's a number of states that don't sound like we're going to get an answer tomorrow. I think it's going to be over the weekend, maybe Monday. And then if some of these court cases play out, it could be even longer. You may recall in 2000, it was, 37 days? So I think there's going to be a need for a lot of patience. It could be a while.
I want to bring to your attention that Joe Biden just tweeted, "The people will not be silenced, be bullied, or surrender. Every vote must be counted." David, your thoughts?
Well, Biden is in a good position. He's clearly more confident in his statement earlier today than we saw with Donald Trump. And I think it's just a matter of time before the Republicans who were with Trump when he was in power and when he was winning flip on him. They have shown no principle over the course of the last 4 years. So they're not going to go down with Trump's sinking ship.
James, what recourse would Donald Trump have after all the votes are tallied? And let's just say Joe Biden wins, because the numbers do seem to point in that direction. He has 27 paths to victory. Donald Trump has 4. What recourse does Donald Trump have, and how long, to Mary Kate's point, might it take to resolve this?
Well, I think the most direct issue that is right now before the Supreme Court, he keeps talking about the Supreme Court, is the Pennsylvania rule that was put in place by their Supreme Court, not by the legislature, allowing votes that were postmarked on Election Day to be counted 3 days afterwards. That went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said they weren't going to take it. It was too late, but they were going to watch it and to segregate those votes that did come in after Election Day. That's been done. And I can tell you that the reporting is, for example, out of Erie County, that of the 10,000 votes out there, about 66 fit that category. So this whole thing comes down to there has to be a substantial number of issues or ballots in question. If you've got a $10,000, $20,000 or 20,000 vote count, the fact that you can point to 3 or 4 issues or 66 ballots here or there, it's just not going to make a difference. And the court's not going to get involved in something like that if those are the numbers that are being presented.